To order, please, and ask everybody to rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, morning, everybody. Welcome to the York County Board of Commissioners meeting, October 18th. Nice to see kind of a full house in here today, and hopefully there's as many online watching us. Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Present.
Holgren.
Present.
Foster.
Present.
Sykes.
Present.
Othmar.
Present. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers and on our website. It is also outside our chambers on the wall. Proof of publication was in the News Times, October 13th, which also was on our website. Review and approve the minutes of our October 4th Board of Commissioner meeting.
Move to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Othmar.
Yes. And then we need to adopt today's agenda.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Foster.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
Othmar.
Yes. Officials forum today. Gary, I know you said you had something. Harvey's getting up.
We can do it together.
All right.
May not be the same. Good morning, Gary Peterson, Community Management
Good
Director.
morning.
Just a few updates on what's been going on. A month ago, we did a workshop. I had NEMA come out, Nebraska Emergency Management Agency, and I was hoping that they would cover the portal through which everything needs to go through for disaster reimbursement. It's supposed to be focused for city and village clerks, administrators, and Harvey and his staff was there too. Anybody that's going to be put in for disaster reimbursement. Well, NEMA brought out about 10 to 12 people, and the majority of them were new, and all they really did was read the PowerPoints, and it was pretty painful. I don't know what Harvey thought, but to me it was painful, and I was not impressed. And they covered a lot of things that really they didn't need to. So at least we tried to do that, but the biggest challenge for these cities and villages is going to be with the clerks who have to gather all this information and get it into that portal. And I was hoping that they, but we didn't have a whole lot of city clerks, village clerks starting up anyway, so I guess it's the way it went. Recently, last week, I applied for the Emergency Management Performance Grant again, which reimburses back up to 50% of eligible salary and benefits for emergency management activities. So last year, between the two counties, it was $47,000 plus they had some ARPA money, which is about another $3,000. So, and I think York County share was like $27,000 maybe. It was a little more than Seward because of that ARPA money, which was for cell phone reimbursement and mileage. And the majority of the mileage, was paid by York County going between the offices and stuff like that. So it works out pretty good though. It's a good grant. They don't increase the amount very much anymore because there's getting to be more counties that are dipping into that pot, and the state doesn't get any more money, and so it's kind of holding the same or decreasing a little bit. A couple weeks ago here, I assisted the Nebraska Department of Ag and USDA with the bird flu outbreak. We had a game farm. We had some cost through Harvey on that, and I submitted that reimbursement to the Nebraska Department of Ag, and they're going to submit that to USDA and see if we can get some of those costs back for assisting with that. And they're still monitoring the other locations, but as far as the initial, that end of it's done. Tomorrow we're going to host or FEMA's going to come out and do a crisis management for school-based incidents course. I made a request through NEMA to have them come out. It's for first responders, law enforcement, and schools, and they limited at 40, but we got like 42 or 43 coming, so that's good. I wish we had more schools showing up. Most of it's law enforcement. Both Seward and York County have law enforcement showing up, and then there's it's been opened up to the state, so there's a lot more law enforcement from the surrounding areas coming to ESUS, a few people come, a few emergency managers, but, it's a good course, it's free to have them come, as long as you get approval from the state, so it'll be a good course, and that's gonna be at Concordia, tomorrow. Got an email from John Cook at NEMA yesterday about our notice of intent for the safe room down there, or the tornado shelter down at the aging site. We've submitted that NOI over a year ago, and finally they're getting back to us. He was supposed to include an application and budget so we can move forward with that, but the attachments were in there, so I'm working with him. He says he's having email trouble, but they want that back by November 8th, so I have to kind of hustle on getting that put together. Last time in the notice of intent, I put an estimated of $12,000 for the whole project. I may increase that a little bit, because, you know, by the time this gets done, we don't know what the costs are gonna be, so I may increase it like 15,000. The cost share on that, it used to be 75-25%, but with this disaster, it's gonna be 90-10, so the county cost will only be 10% of the total cost of the. I need to get together with probably Randy or somebody on the board about the location of that. I don't think they want it inside, so it's gonna have to go outside, so we'll have to see location, you know, near an exit or something like that.
Okay.
Hope we can figure it out there. I'm hoping that it's not gonna be, it shouldn't be classified as a commercial. We figured 9 people. The highest residential one, it can hold up to 14 people. That's 3 square foot per people, so if you get, you know, wheelchair in there or something, that's gonna reduce that amount, but we should have enough for 9. If we get in the commercial size, then we're gonna run into a lot more, they call it a community safe room. Then there's a lot more paperwork, a lot more hoops to come through. We tried that in Seward County and we gave up on it because they would sit on the application and then they'd make a request, they wanted more information, they wanted it back in 2 weeks. Well, you know, I like to run things through the county attorney and then through the board, so I'll have to do that with you guys too, you know, with this room here.
Okay.
Before I make the application, I'll give you a copy of the application and then hopefully I can get that. I don't know, I'll have to look at the timeline, I don't know if you have another meeting before November 8th or not, but. If you
One.
do,
Yeah.
well, we'll squeeze it in there,
Yeah.
so,
Is that about the same size, Gary, as what we already have externally at the extension office
yeah,
and
it
at the
should be that
roads
same
department?
size.
That same
Yep,
size?
6.5 by 8.5 is kind of what I'm looking at. Like I say, it should hold up to 14 people, it's gonna be a little tight, but, and like I say, it's not gonna be a community safe room, it's basically for those employees there and, at that site. So
Okay.
that's it for me, unless you got questions on anything, so.
Just a comment.
Okay.
We had a phone call from the Nebraska Department of Ag, and apparently the Nebraska Department of Agriculture received several comments from the people that worked the bird flu event, and all of them were very positive in what you helped.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a nice accolade for you, that they just wanted to reach out to us to tell you did a good job.
Yep. Well-
And that wasn't just from them, it was from, you know, like the group from Oklahoma that was up here and different things like that, so we appreciate what you do for
Well,
us, Gary.
you know, with the situation, they did a very professional job, so I was impressed with them too, so.
Good, good.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Yep, you're welcome.
I assume, Harv, you were getting up, so you're,
Sure, I'll give you a quick rundown on the road department. Road 13, we are done with that, it's gravelled, open. We're working at IN-12, we removed a culvert that had a hole in it, leveled the intersections up a little bit, made that a little better. We're still hauling gravel, lading roads, hauling rock, just the normal things we always do. So that's what we have going on out there.
anybody have any questions of Harv?
Snowplow's ready to go?
We will do that next week.
Okay,
And we'll bring them in, run it through, make sure everything is up and ready to go.
and hope we don't have to use them.
And hope they sit and rust away where they are.
Another year. Thank you, Harvey.
Yep.
Anybody else? I don't see any other officials here, do I? I do, but I don't think they're coming forward right now. Okay, public forum. At this point in time, if you would wish, you could step forward, have some comments on something that is not on the agenda.
I don't have a copy of the agenda because they were out,
Or we,
but I wanted to talk about the Four Corners.
that's on the agenda.
Okay.
So we'll have an opportunity there, Suzie. Okay, at this, we'll move on. We do have an executive session, but we're gonna push it back a little bit further in the meeting. So we do not have any general assistance cases, so review and approve the payroll and vendor claims. There was one correction in those, gentlemen. There was one in the miscellaneous that was $49,562. That was for MMC. That is our boiler. And that, when we decided to purchase that boiler, we were gonna do it out of inheritance. It got coded out of miscellaneous, so that will be actually paid for out of inheritance, where we had said we'd originally do it from. So, and I think that is fairly, it's operational, but Cal was saying that we need, because of that room down there, it's fairly tight, we need to have some louvers on a door to allow more airflow in there, so he was checking with them to get that up and running, so, but, that's good. I didn't see any others other than the fact that some of our outside detention was going down, which is nice.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the payroll and vendor claims with the corrections
Thank you, Kurt.
presented.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Holgren.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Salzberger.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. There is no funding transfers that I'm aware of. And so next up on the agenda is discuss an act on bonding for York University. I believe there was an attachment, and I think there was also paperwork that was left in your boxes on that. So gentlemen from York University would like to come forward, maybe give a brief description again if they'd like to. If there's any questions the board has. I do have a copy.
Todd Sheldon from York.
Todd, you may, that one got kind of bent up a little bit. Thank you.
And Sam Smith from York. We left you some information that just is a summary from Union Bank, which is going to be the funding vehicle of the debt. So they're going to be the lender. They currently hold our current bonds, and so they're refinancing. Basically, it's all going to be paperwork, but to refinance our current bonds with our debt that we used to purchase the old Mahoney house property, and to combine that into one debt so that we have just one payment instead of two. And so that's a summary of all the proposed rules and term information. Of course, they reserve the right to reprice that by the time it takes to get this all approved. But if it was done last month, that would have been the rate of 5.05%.
Okay. Any questions that you guys have this morning? Daniel?
Just to clarify a couple things, I believe we talked about this last time, but there's very minimal, if any, work for our clerk. It's my understanding it's all handled through an attorney, and those
That's
fees
correct.
are paid and everything.
Right.
Let's see, I had a couple other. And if this we anticipate that this would be closed and completed yet this year. Is
Yes,
that correct?
that's, for both your sake and ours,
Right.
that is the understanding. It could be, even in your approval saying, dependent upon being closed
Sure,
by,
right.
by December 31st, so
Mhm.
that it becomes a 2022 issue.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. And then, Mr. Chairman, if I understand that correctly, then that way it does not get into our next year's authority and stuff like that,
Right.
correct?
Right.
Okay. There's a couple fees in here, and those are all fine with you, and you cover all of those
Right,
fees,
right.
correct?
That's a standard cost of bonds and financing. And so, yes, that's all of the fees, all of the costs are going to be covered by us.
Mhm.
Yes.
No further questions on my side?
My only one, is that we have the capability of picking our own attorney.
Yes.
And
that-
then, obviously that is,
Right.
is that a reimbursement from the college, or is that attorney billed direct to?
As far as I understand, the attorney would bill to the closing
Okay.
process, and as all the paper and funds are adjusted, the attorneys would be paid out of that proceeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the only one I had. I know that the last time we did this, we are used as a vehicle. There is no liability to the county in one way. We're just a vehicle to get you guys the bonding that you
Right.
need, or you're asking for, I should say.
And that's why the lawyers get involved, is to make sure
Yes.
that you have no legal obligation.
Yes. Bill, did you have?
I just wondered, do we approve you signing an agreement, the chairman, or what's the procedure there? Does the chairman of the board sign an agreement with?
That was my question.
To
At this
Go
point,
through this
at this
process.
point in time, it would be you all approving the concept that you would do this, then the hiring of the lawyers and the paperwork. They would bring back to you a resolution that you would have to adopt at a later meeting that officially has all the proper wording and details again. So this would be just saying, you approve the idea and going forward and assigning a lawyer to represent you. And then that lawyer would bring back to you a resolution that would have all the proper wording for this bond issue.
Go ahead, Kurt.
A resolution or an agreement that has all the terms laid out? How does that work?
It could be both, I'm not sure.
Okay, I like agreements just because it protects both parties.
Right,
You know,
right, yes.
Their resolutions, I think, are a little easier to change, but.
There will be some documents that you all sign.
Right,
Yes.
sure, okay. And so then we just need to adopt a motion
To move forward with.
to proceed with hiring counsel for this project then, right?
That's what we would need, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would assume by the time frame and the amount of meetings that we have left by the end of the year, we'll be seeing these gentlemen pretty regular over the next 4 meetings or so we can get this wrapped up. But yeah, I would assume today we need a motion to approve going forward with bonding for York University, and that should cover, put the ball in action.
Just
when
cover
we
all
do
of it.
Yeah, I would
That
think
needs
so.
to happen.
And then Randy or somebody would need to inform me of who you
Right.
want as your lawyer representing. And in the state of Nebraska, there's not that many bond lawyers to choose from. We use Klein Williams as our bond counsel. But,
If I remember right, last time, Kelly, Barrett at Home is who we did it with last time when we
Okay.
did through the York General Hospital, so I don't see any reason, they did a good job for us, I think last time it'd probably be somebody from that firm.
I do like the idea though, having that clause in there about having it done by December 31st of this year. So
Yes.
I don't know what we'd use it for next year, but
Just keep
last
it
year
all-
we didn't know what we used it for this
Right.
year, and then this came up. you know,
yes,
so-
exactly.
Okay, any other questions then this morning, guys? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
To do what?
to move forward with their application. I'm sorry. I thought we already talked about it.
Second.
Okay, thank you. You got your motion?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Any other discussion? Daniel?
Just, and you added the clause, just to, so that we all know what we're doing, we added the clause of completion by December 31st.
I think that would probably be in the agreements.
True,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
We're gonna have it in this one too. We're double covered.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody understands where we're at right now. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bonser,
Yes.
Stonemeyer.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
Forward to
very,
seeing-
very much.
We'll be in touch, Don.
Yes,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay, next up is, and I believe we have time, hopefully before 9 o'clock, discuss an act on appointing a spirited member to the Four Corner Health Department. We're gonna call it Board of Directors. Is that what the spirit is on? Board of Health, okay, thank you. Jack, I'll let you take over if you'd like to.
Okay. In 2020, we made a motion, I believe, to reappoint everybody at that time because of the pandemic. In the past, and the way the situation is set up, is they're supposed to be stagnated so that we don't change the board all at once. And so we're trying to get back into that, and the executive board of the Board of Health drew numbers out of a lot to figure out who would appoint somebody for 3 years, who would appoint somebody for 2 and 1, etc., to get this stagger back into the way it's supposed to be. I talked to Kelly, and I think, I have that paper that you gave me, Kelly, about
Committees.
the committees that were appointed at that time.
They were all 3 years, and they were all due 2023?
Yes.
2023.
Yeah. I knew I'd find it. Okay, so each county, according to the agreement, was to supply 2 people to this board. One would have to be a county commissioner and the other a spirited member. A couple months ago, Margaret Brink resigned her part as a spirited member from York County. And she had been on the board since its inception. So at that time, when we reappointed, we haven't reappointed anybody to cover her. And that's what this appointment is basically for, is for a 3-year appointment to the spirited member of the York County Board from York County. Also on this information there, we have a dentist and a physician that's on this board. They were appointed for the dentist was appointed for 1 year to go from 1/20/23 to 12/20/23. So she's still elected and will be for the next year. The physician, which is Julian Thickinger, was appointed 1/20/23 to 12/20/24 for 2-year period. So the period that the person that we're looking at to appoint now is someone as a spirited member. And I had 5 people that showed some interest in being on that board. And I talked to the chairman, and he advised that maybe we would leave a portion of this meeting to allow anybody that's made their name thrown into the hat, so they say, to get into that position. So if there's somebody here that would like to get up and speak.
I would,
Okay, Susie Fairbanks?
yes. Okay, so. I just got a new hip.
Susie, just name and address for the record, if you would, please, once you
Susie
get.
Fairbanks. My legal name is Pamela Fairbanks. My address is 719 North Delaware, York.
Thank you.
I'd like to be considered. I've lived in the York area since 1976. I have a bachelor's degree, a bachelor's in science degree with an endorsement in special education. I was a teacher for 19 years, 2 at a private school in Omaha, 17 here. Then I worked for Health and Human Services for 20 years. And since then, I've just been a bum. So I volunteered after I retired. I volunteered at Blue Valley. And I just feel like it's time for me to give back to the community again. And I started out in college thinking I'd be a doctor. Well, I got to zoology and thought, can't dissect a fetal pig. There's no way I can be a physician. So I've always been interested in medicine and that sort of thing. And I found out about rabies because in August I was helping clear out my mom's house. We sold her house. And I got bit by a bat. And so I got to go through the rabies vaccine. So I understand now why we're so looking for rabid birds or, you know, whatever. And I'm really interested in vaccinations, especially with this new kind of COVID coming. We need to make sure people are getting their vaccines done, and children need to be vaccinated. Let's see what else. Oh, daycare. I know that's a problem in this area, finding enough daycare. Oh, and I'm working on a master's degree. I have 2 classes left I'm going to finish at York University. I'm just getting that project started, so it probably won't be this year, probably next year. So, anybody have any questions?
Doesn't look like, oh, sorry, Kurt, didn't see your hand.
Yes?
You brought up vaccinations. What's your opinion or your belief on, do you think vaccinations should be required or should they
It
be
depends on the
voluntary?
religion and personal choice.
Okay.
But I would like to see everybody vaccinated, but if they have a medical reason or a religious reason, you know, you can't make people do it.
Okay.
But everyone that could, I believe, should.
Okay. I know masks in schools were a big
Yes.
point of contention for folks. What's your feelings on that?
I believe it's an easy way to prevent spreading it. It's more than, you know, not wearing a mask. But I know a lot of people had a problem with it. But, you know, I wore a mask and I don't, you know, I'm not working in the public right now, but I still wore one whenever I went out just because I escaped. So,
Sure. Okay.
so my opinion is it's a good idea.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Susie.
You're welcome.
Jim?
Jim Ulrich, 1313 Road Inn, York. Like to be considered for the Board of Health, Four Corners. I'm the CEO of York General Healthcare Services and have been in healthcare since May of '88. If I do the math right, that's about 34, a little over 34 years. And the importance of the healthcare institutions and the communities working with public health is really paramount. It's if there wasn't, I can't think of a better illustration than during the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, you look at hospitals and nursing homes and assisted livings and dialysis like we have and everything, and being able to deal with the pandemic and being able to turn and work with Four Corners on that, on the public at large as well. And then communicating all of that message in unison back to the counties that we serve, I think was just a good action overall that happened during the pandemic. I've worked with Laura and her team since I've been in York 6 years now. I was out in Southwest Nebraska in McCook for 16 and a half years and worked closely with the Southwest Public Health Department as well. At that time, I know the importance of partnership that way, and part of our mission at York General is for the health and wellness. Health, I think, speaks for itself on a healthcare institution. The wellness and the proactive nature that comes from working with public health departments. We do those things in partnership, working together. And I think that's gonna be important, very important going ahead in the future. So I entertain any questions you have.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Thank you. I'll ask you the same questions I asked Ms. Fairbanks. What are your feelings on vaccinations? Should they be required, mandated?
I have the same general answer that you just heard on that. I think vaccines are a good idea for those that can take them, but religious and medical exemptions, I think, are something that should happen. And I think that, being able to stop the spread of a pandemic, just like we do flu, I think that those vaccines will change over time. So I think it's something that vaccines can help you get your arms around the spread. It's not going to completely stop everything. I think we've seen that in the pandemic and the change in the variants. But I do think it's important to allow for those exemptions as well.
And then again with the mask mandates in schools
Yes.
and other places.
And healthcare institutions, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
We've
too,
had
yeah.
certainly, and August has peeled back our mandate on masks. And we use, first of all, I'd say that I think on a healthcare side of things, we know how to deal with infections. And just because we've peeled back some of the masking that we've done, there's still, if there's compromised individuals, our clinicians and everybody mask up and they take precautions. And they do all those things in infection prevention, of which one of them can be masks. There's many other means for that. Surgery, you're always gonna have masks, things like this, but I think that's an area that I think can be handled by healthcare institutions and not necessarily have to be mandated on that end. We right now operate off of triggers, meaning if the infection rates get high enough, as we've surmised over the pandemic where that is, then we will tighten some restrictions on masking. But at this point, in the way things are, I don't think that we need to mandate anymore in our healthcare institutions.
Or any other
Yeah,
political
in any other
subdivisions,
way right
schools,
now,
cities,
yeah.
governments. Okay.
But I think it's something that feel confident in both the health department and our healthcare institutions to have recommendations on when that should, if we need to heighten that or we need to have other measures. But I think we learned through COVID-19 that there's ways to manage that. Masking certainly at certain times helped, but in other times I think it's just making smart decisions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
At this time right now, we're gonna take a little break from this one. We did have a 9 o'clock, a bridge letting that I'd like to take up, and then we'll come right back in. I'm sure Harvey will wanna go and examine stuff. So this is discuss and act on building bridge on Route 20 between V and X.
And it is multiple bridges?
Two under one
Yes.
package, yes. One contract, two bridges right next to each other. There should be big blocks you can fill out the contractor,
Okay, and this is all the bridge.
salary sheet.
That's all the
Feel free
bridge.
to do those.
Bridge only.
Who are you?
My name's Adam Mason, I work with Miller Wagner Associates, so I wanted to
Perfect.
have a presence here
Sure.
and kind of get to meet everybody.
Okay, first one is from Simon, North Platte, Nebraska. Okay, looks like we have two parts to this. Looks like we have project 1, so total for the roadway, which is R1, is $567,000. And then total for B2, I mean, this must be the bridge, $829,400. The total of R1, oh, I'm sorry, I missed one. So there's a total for a B1 also, 884,000. So the three figures we have is 567, 884, 829,400, for a total, combining all three, $2,280,400.
Repeat.
$2,280,400.
Thank you.
Was there dates, start and end date on that?
It should be on the very, very last sheet.
Start of construction 1/7 of 2023, end of construction 7/1 of 2023.
Where's this again exactly?
Up by Gresham.
Yeah, south,
It's on Route 20, southeast of Gresham,
at Fair Road over there.
between V and W, or V and X. It is right at the intersection, on either side of intersection Road W where it hits 20. There's one on the east, one on the west.
Thank you.
Okay, this one is from Herbst Construction, of Lamar's, Iowa.
Say that again.
Herbst, H-E, okay, once again, there will be three phases. 523,992 on phase roadway.
Say again, please.
523,992. And then for B1, $847,467. And for B2, $826,624. Grand total of $2,198,083. Start 5/1 of 23, end 11/3 of 23. Get these all mixed up here. Okay, the last one was, so no, there's two more, all right, sorry. Kia Constructors, Milford, Nebraska. Phase 1, the roadway, $454,845.10, $454,845.10. The B1, $902,729.50. The B2, $889,483.80. Grand total, $2,247,058.40. Start date is January 3rd of 2023. End of construction, it's 220 CD. Do we know what that means?
220 calendar days.
Okay, thank you, from the back. JJK out of Ceresco, Nebraska. Part 1 for the roadway is $540,121.03.
Say that again, please.
$540,121.03. The B1 is $785,165.72. Sorry, I'm speaking in numbers, I usually don't talk. Part B2, $759,959.39, for a grand total of $2,085,246.14.
Read that total one more time, please.
$2,085,246.14.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
all these bids accompanied by a bond.
Yes. January 9th start date, 2023 or sooner. Completion date, July 28th, 2023 or sooner.
That's it.
And that is it. Harv, I assume
Yes, we're gonna go.
you want to do your thing
Run some numbers
and look everything over.
yes.
I didn't get the name of the last one.
JJK.
JJK out of Ceresco, Nebraska.
Sorry, thank you.
Thanks, Harvey. Okay, we'll jump back to the spirited member. I know of the 5 names that I'm aware of. There's one other in the room. Would you wish to speak at this time?
I'm Willard Peterson from 514 Road 13. My address is York, but I live in the, outside of the community of Bradshaw. And anyway, as soon as I heard about this opening, I thought, well, you know, that's something that I watched very carefully through the pandemic of how health departments worked and so forth. And I know how I wanted them to work. And it was the fact that I wanted to get the feeling from health departments that they kind of looked at science, looked at other issues, but then also giving everyone the feeling that there are 2 sides to every story, and sometimes there are more 2 sides to every story, and that everybody's you know, opinions or thoughts are worth listening to. I am a lifelong resident of York County, born and raised here. Goes back to my great-grandfather when we were here. And I was an educator for 40 years. Tried to make the 6th graders at Bradshaw and Heartland better members of society. And I was successful as you can maybe be with 6th graders. And anyway, and so as through my job, it's been my job for 40 years to look at both sides of an issue, listen to everybody, work with people that you don't want to work with, and try to balance all of that. And I think I was a little better than okay with that. And that's kind of the way I've worked with everything. When thinking about the pandemic itself, I got a little tired of people saying, well, I don't want this person telling me or this person telling me what to do. I tried to teach by telling kids or working with kids to help them understand that the only person that can decide for them is themselves. And the only way you can do an effective way of thinking of that is to look at all sides, look at all the information, and then for you yourself, you decide. But if you don't make a positive effort to really understand any side of an issue, you don't get very far. And that's the way I kind of try to run my life. And I think as a health board, I was pretty happy with the way not just this specific health board, but other health boards looked at the issue. I felt that in general they tried to accommodate, you know, everybody's thought process, and that's what I would do to continue on a board such as that. And I've also volunteered and worked with a whole lot of things. Since I retired, that's what I was hoping to do. I've worked with aging services. In the past, I've worked very, very much with the senior center, not so much in the last few years, but before that I did. Been on our church, about everything you can do in our church in Bradshaw. We built a new church. I was the, whatever you call it, the liaison between the church and the contractors to make sure, well, I was gonna stick in something about insulation, but I didn't wanna go there. So, anyway, I've done several things. So, anyway, I just, that's what I know, that's what I do, and so, thank you very much.
Kurt,
Are there
Willard?
questions?
would you please?
Oh,
I
yeah,
got a question.
I was gonna answer those before I left.
Right,
I
go ahead
forgot.
and have a seat.
Yeah.
So you know the questions, what's your beliefs on vaccines requirements versus, mandatory?
I can
Mandatory
o-
versus-
I can only say for me, if you were listening, I evaluated the whole thing with vaccines for myself. That's all I do, is for myself, not for necessarily what everybody else should do. I try to look at both sides. I decided that for me, vaccines were the thing. And that was also thinking about where I think some other people were coming from, the idea that this particular vaccine was developed faster, I believe, than any other vaccine has ever been developed. And that makes me kind of step back and think a little bit, because with science, it takes time, you know. But I decided for me that it was the thing to do, so I did that. And I really did not argue with people about if they didn't want to. As a health teacher, as an elementary teacher, I taught health, and I tried to teach good health practices. And going to your thing about masks and so forth, I felt forever with colds and flu and everything else. I have always felt that if we did something, sanitize, well, we talked in school all the time, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. I think that's been around long enough that that's a kind of a done deal. If you wash your hands, you're gonna be better off, no matter what. But as far as forcing people to do it, that's a rock and a hard place, because, you know, if we could cut down on it, that would be fine, but also, you know, if people don't wanna do it, I don't think there should be the Gestapo out saying you have to do it.
And then, same with the masks too,
Yeah, same
requiring
with the
schools
masks.
to have them, or,
I'm in a little different position because I have extreme allergies, so I wear a mask all summer when it's hot. And so wearing a mask for me was just kind of a no-brainer, because what I've thought about masks spreading disease for years. So for me personally, I wear a mask. And I did that during the COVID, but that wasn't because somebody was telling me to do it. I had evaluated it for myself. And I would like to think that health departments and that could maybe look toward that, of spreading the word, that at least educate yourself on it. Don't listen to your neighbor, don't listen to this, look at the facts for yourself. And I think there's ways that could be done, so.
thank you.
Thank you, Willard. Okay, the other two, like I said, there was 5 names that came forward. The other 2 are not here to speak. So at this point in time, Jack, do you have any other comments that you'd like to make? Go ahead.
Well, I did ask Laura McDougal to show up today, because I'm gonna say a few things about the Four Corners Health Board, and she can correct me if I'm incorrect, okay? First of all, Four Corners Board does not have the authority to mandate anything. The city of York has a health board. They're the ones that mandated the face masks, etc. There was a lot of discussion about there being people on that board that weren't elected officials. That came and went, and everybody wore the mask like they were supposed to. But I think the Four Corners Board takes their direction and their information from the CDC. And that's given us information that we give out to the public for free. And we're a clearinghouse for that kind of information. And we look at other things other than just the pandemic. That's why there's a dentist on our board. That's why we have a doctor on our board, and both of those people are well qualified. I think Julian Fickinger has got a master's degree, if I'm correct, in public health. So, in our board consisting of 10 people, consists of one county commissioner from each county. Those people are changed possibly every year. It's up to the discretion of the board chairman to appoint somebody to that committee. I've been on the committee for 10 years. There's several other of the county commissioners that have been on there less than a year. Some of them are on for a couple of years and then they come and go. But it was designed to have a spirited member, which is appointed by this board and by each one of the other boards, to have a spirited member on that board. So we have 2, and the Four Corners, that means there's 8 people plus the 2 medical people, that's 10 people. But as I said right off the beginning, we don't have the authority as a board to mandate anything. We give information to the schools, and most of that information comes from the CDC. I think you can take it or leave it. And in all the years that I've been on that board, nobody has ever asked me personally how I feel about masks or vaccinations. And I agree with everybody that what they've said here. I think that's a personal decision, just like abortion or anything else. That's a personal decision, and the Board of Health doesn't direct anybody to those things. They just give you information. They did a lot of tracing to find out who had been in contact with people who came down with it. I think our health board has increased in personnel quite a bit since the last 6 years. That Laura has been the chair, has been the president or chairman, whatever you want to call her, the director of the Four Corners. I think that we listen to any information that comes on. Any information that comes in, it isn't open, just like this meeting isn't open to the public. And we have very, very few, just like this meeting, we have very, very few people come up and give their opinion, other than writing threatening letters, etc., etc. Well, I've been threatened by the experts, so it don't bother me a bit. But you know what? It's not right for her to be threatened for doing her job. So, that's all I have to say about
Okay.
that.
Any other discussion? Back to when we originally started, the term for this spirited member will be
3 years
3 years from appointment today.
from the appointment time, yeah.
Okay. Kurt?
Question for Laura. So this appointment, is there a spirited member from, maybe Jack, you know, a spirited member from each county in the health district, or one spirited member for the whole health district?
Each county, so we have 4 spirited members, 1 from each county.
Okay, and so does this appointment then need to be approved by just this county board, or do all the county boards in the health district have to approve this spirited member appointment?
Your board, the York County Board is responsible for the York County spirited member.
Okay,
No other county boards vote on your spirited member.
okay. What positions on the board then are approved by all of the county boards?
The doctor and the dentist.
Okay, all
A
right,
majority of the 4.
right,
Yes, a majority.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Daniel?
2 clarifications. One, the term, some of those terms that you were talking about, where the committee had drawn out, were running through the end of the 1, 2, 3 years. Where I just want to make sure that we get the appointment term correctly.
The committee with the Four Corners Board got together,
Yep.
the ruling group got together and decided that was the only fair way of doing it.
Sure.
Was to just draw it out of the hat and pick which county can appoint a 3-year member, which
Yep.
county 2-year, 1 year, etc., so that they all don't come due at the same
Sure.
time. So that was agreed upon to do it. York County was one that was given 3 years. So
Okay.
this appointment would be for 3 years, and I assume they actually start January 1st
Yep.
of the year
Right.
and go 3 years from that date.
Right. And so, but we're replacing somebody, because, so we would want this term really to be, and, finish out this year, and then a 3-year term starting January.
I knew you'd ask that, Daniel.
And
Well,
so,
the other two terms, the one for the dentist and the doctor, actually, according to her records, they were set for a year period, and they will,
just any time in the year.
they will actually come due this coming January of '23.
Okay, yep.
So we're not really voting on the dentist or the doctor.
Right,
We're just
exactly.
voting on the spirited member.
Yep.
And it was kind of an abrupt thing that Margaret Brink
Sure.
resigned because of health reasons and other personal reasons
Mhm.
that she resigned. So we have a quorum at this time. It doesn't matter. I think to keep the dates correct, we should just go with the January and leave her position empty until then.
Okay,
That's just my opinion.
right.
How often do you meet?
How often you meet?
How often do you guys meet? Do you have a meeting yet for the end of the year?
Yes,
So-
December 8th.
So if that's the case, let's go ahead and appoint somebody to fulfill the remainder of this term till the end of the year, and then we can put it back on the agenda. That way,
That one,
that
yep.
spirited member is good to go.
How many meetings do you have a year, your board?
At least 4.
At least 4. I know Jack has, when he gives his committee reports, oftentimes it'll be, we were supposed to meet, but we didn't have quorum because people didn't show up. So I would, whoever's appointed to this position, I would encourage you to be diligent in attending those meetings, because it's frustrating for, you take time out of your schedule to go to a meeting and then people don't show up. So and like we've told Jack, we'll tell you, if there's members that are being difficult, let us know, and those members can be replaced if they're someone we can replace. But granted, if it's a county board member not showing up, there's not much we can do about those bugs. So, and I will say too, Mr. Chairman, I am going to be voting no on any of the appointments for the spirited member. Nothing personal against any of the people that applied here for it. They're all very genuine, nice people. I know they're interested in it. I don't like how the state has set up this system. I feel like it shouldn't be a spirited person, it should be a lay person. Granted, there's nothing we can do about it here, that has to be an act of the legislature, but I guess it's more of a protest vote than anything. I won't be supporting that, but I do appreciate you guys coming in here today and putting your names forward for that position, so.
Any other comments before we?
So we're just gonna appoint somebody now to allow term till the end of the year.
I think so, yeah, and then.
Put it back on the agenda.
I think so, because if they're 3-year terms, we either appoint it from today for 3 years, or we finish out the term. If the board wants it to be on January, then we finish out the term, and then we revisit it at January.
If we go 3 years from the day, that throws the whole thing out of kilter.
A little bit. So this would be to appoint a person for the remaining of 2022, and then we can have it back on the agenda, the first part of 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we appoint Ms. Fairbanks to the Board of Health as the spirited member. Susie Fairbanks, right?
Kurt,
Yes.
I think you might have to use legal name. I think you said Pamela, is that correct?
Okay, Pamela Fairbanks as the spirited member representing York County on the Four Corners Board of Health for the remainder of the term vacated by Margaret Brink.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Is there a second? One more time, I'll ask, is there a second? Okay, motion fails by lack of a second.
Mr. Chairman,
Jack?
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Ehrlich, Jim Ehrlich, to be the member to fill Meg Brink's position until the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bill. We do have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bongsberger,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes.
Holgren,
No.
and Kinsler.
Yes. Okay, once again, I'd like to echo Kurt's comments. It's rare that when we have a position open, we have to twist, beg, and borrow somebody to volunteer or make them feel guilty to do it. And in this case, we had 5 people do it. We sure appreciate the people coming forward and asking for that. Thank you.
I will make one comment. We had 5 people, all of them qualified for this position, and I appreciate them putting their hat in the ring. Don't you appoint me to this position again.
All right, I guess we're gonna move on. Thanks, Jim. We do have 9:30. Can we go ahead? Did we have any bids for the 9:30? Okay. It's all right, we'll take those and send you away again, and then we can come back and do everything. That way we kind of stay on schedule here. So at 9:30, we have discuss and act on open bids for a box culvert, Road 2 between U and B.
The bridge stuff.
Let's not mix those up.
The box culvert.
You
all the
keep this
different-
one. I guess I don't fill this out.
Do you want me to wait
all the
and just
different,
do all the bids at one time? Or the recommendation?
Price.
Yep, so usually what I would do is
Well,
I'll
we
put the
could-
contractor
we
up
could go
here,
ahead
and then I
go
just
with
put the one total for the
recommendation
project, because
and open
the other
that, or
three,
any of
it's all
them
based on the
like
total for
the
contract,
contract,
so
I mean, do
the,
we- we don't
the
know.
first 3 numbers aren't really a big deal,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
won't
the
do
total
that.
for
Okay.
everything.
You
This
can
one will be a
go
little bit
away,
easier,
yeah.
just, there's one price. And then, yeah, I usually put start date and end date, because then sometimes if they're close, if somebody's got a little bit more aggressive schedule, sure, you can always plan that as part of consideration as well, so.
Bauer Infrastructure is the first bid will be opened, and they are from Martell, looks like Nebraska.
Randy, do we want to take the recommendation and finish the bridge up?
Let's go ahead and just open these up quick.
Okay.
And then we'll do that, and then we'll take your recommendation, and you can
Cool.
go, and we can kind of continue on.
Do you have to state anything about the notice of the bid that was out or anything like that legally? I forget.
I didn't get a,
We did not get the proof of publication, but it was publication in York News Times 3 times, and I can't tell you the dates right off
Okay.
of my head.
And that's the prime in 3 weeks.
Sure, cool with that.
Good there.
Okay, this one does have the bid bond. Thanks for bringing that up last time. This is one price. So this is $432,514.15. This is an April 1, 2023 start date, and an end construction date, June 21st, 2023. To remind everybody, this is something that will need to be done yet this,
Who was that?
Bauer, yes. That goes there.
And where is this at? McCool Junction area?
This
No, no.
is on
This
Road
is
south of
2
you.
Oh,
between
on
U
U
and
and
B.
T3. We're gonna do work down there?
Yes, we're gonna get rid of the bridge, put a box in.
I'll be darned.
You say it.
I didn't miss a thing.
Votescapes?
Yes.
Okay, close enough, out of Bennett, Nebraska.
Spell that, please.
VOGTSCAPES.
You didn't know that, Bill?
The way I pronounce it so effectively, this does have a bid bond. $373,368.35.
And where are they out of again?
Bennett.
Bennett.
And this is an April 2023 start and May 2023 finish. Saul Ramos Construction, Shelton, Nebraska.
Shelton?
Shelton, bid bond is present. $464,649.75. March 6th of 2023, April 28th of 2023.
Can I ask you to read that total one more time, please?
464, 649, 75 cents.
Thank you.
The bid bonds in here.
Okay. Gonna open that up just to verify seeing it. Okay, and this was from Van Kirk's, down in Sutton, I believe. Okay, bid bond is attached. This is $373,025. April 3rd of 2023, June 2nd of 2023.
Out of Sutton.
Yes. So jumping back to the bridge, up on Road 20, you guys look through it, Harv?
Yes. Recommendation would be to go with JJK Construction for the $2,085,246.14. And this is the bond, and that will all but blow the bond out with these bridges and the one down on Rodo. Because the Rodo is $1,039,000, and then we put this on there, and the bond will basically be gone. There'll be just a few hundred, there'll be a little dab left, not much,
Okay,
so.
okay. Any questions?
Where are they out of, JJK? Ceresco?
Yes.
And was there a completion date or anything like that with that one?
They have it as
Start
July
date?
28th, starting as January 9th or sooner.
Okay. And what was the end date you said again?
July of
July.
28th, or July 28th.
Is it all?
I was giving them a lot of
Yeah, a lot of leeway there. Bond will be over by then. won't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
That's
We'll
all
have this
right.
thing paid off.
Okay,
Have,
go ahead, Daniel.
have you worked with them before? Have we?
Yes,
Okay.
So
we have.
we have multiple,
Okay. Very good.
and they're under budget, or my estimate as well too.
Yep.
What was your estimate?
2217, so they're about 135,000, 140,000 lower, my estimate.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you, Harvey.
You guys gonna take-
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the recommendation of the highway superintendent and award the bid to JJK of Ceresco in the amount of $2,085,246.
Thank you, Kurt.
14 cents.
Mhm, yeah.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Any other
Can't
discussion?
have two motions go down in flames.
Just a question, I guess, more general. Do we ever, or is there in the contract or anything, incentives to be done by the time they tell us they're gonna be done? As far as if they go over, and is there any type of,
There's liquidated damages in the
Okay.
contract, so usually
Yep.
we have a desired or a required completion date,
Yep.
and then after they get a certain amount of days, as far
Yep.
as we track the days, when
Yep.
they start, usually in the winter, you'll suspend days at a certain
Sure.
point, but we'll track the days, once they go through their days or a date, then damages can get assessed based on the contract amount.
yep?
And it's
Yeah.
all in the contract, so,
Cool.
yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Go ahead, Kurt.
I think just logistically speaking on this project, there are some residences nearby, some of these bridges, right?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Have we thought about, or, I mean, the road's closed, but, are they both gonna be out of commission at the same time, or one and then the other, or
Concurrently.
concurrently?
So
Okay.
they can work on them at the same time, so they can keep this going, and they can just go, we will put a detour around. We'll probably run the detour up to Road 22, go over, and then come back down either on the county line or the first mile into Seward County, because that is a little better, and that would be the official road.
Are we gonna do any regrading on that road as well while we're in there replacing the bridge, or is there any need for that?
Minor, just enough to meet standards, about
Right.
200-300 feet either side of the bridge, and then a little bit north of the intersection, but very minimal.
All right,
We don't have a project to redo the home miles, because those are both in pretty good shape.
okay,
Ditches are pretty fair, all that.
okay.
You got it pulled up, your map there.
Yeah,
Where
it's
they're
right
at,
here.
you know, just to the south, there's a dead end.
Mm-hmm, yeah, the
And,
teen
uh,
road then.
And there will be some disruption, but when we look at the disruption that the flood had here not too long ago,
Well, exactly.
this hopefully will clear that problem up too.
Well, and it's, you know, like any other project, it's a pain while it's going on, but it's nice when it's over. And it's,
Yes.
how old are these bridges? 1928 and 1935, so hopefully it's another 100 years before we have to do anything else to them.
I probably won't have to look at it.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Holgren.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Overmark.
Yes. These are sitting right there, Art.
Awesome, thank you.
See you in a little bit. Okay, next up on the agenda is discuss and act on designated commissioner to authorize NACO conference voting and designated a second voter. That email was sent out, I believe. Did everybody get that email from NACO? Something we do all the time.
They asked for an alternate also.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that chairman be authorized to be the designated voter for York County with Vice Chairman Daniel Gross as alternate.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion?
Are you guys planning on going to the NACO conference?
Yes, I
You
believe
are now.
I'm signed
Are
up.
you planning on going to the business meeting Friday morning?
It's,
Okay. Curious.
You are now.
Yeah.
any other questions? Roll call.
Osborne.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
And Overmark.
Yes. Next up is discuss an act on appointing a York County treasurer. There's been somebody waiting patiently, I assume, at the back of the room for this to take place. And Daniel and myself and Cheryl Wysite in the clerk's office sat down with the one applicant that we had, one full applicant that we had. There were some resumes mailed to us, and then it was conferred back to them about what we exactly wanted, and then we never heard again. So at this point in time, I would ask that Megan step forward. We did spend 45 minutes with her, and I'll have you name and address, please, for the record.
I'm Megan Williams at 20 Edison Avenue, York, Nebraska.
Thank you. We had a good conversation. Daniel is much more thorough in his approach to interviews and questions than what I am. I think he's solidified himself as a position to do this. He seemed to be very qualified at it. But we did have that. Now, this would be an appointment to finish out the term of the previous treasurer that passed, and that would be till the end of the year. The voters will elect the next treasurer, and that will be on the ballot November 8th. When is it? November 8th. So, if anybody has any questions right now that they would like to ask Megan, or if we wanted to have her give a brief, I know that we can't let her off the hook. She's got to talk publicly to us. So here we are. Megan, go ahead. Just a little bit.
Randy, before we do that, can I come forward?
Sure.
If she's filed for write-in and she starts speaking to the board, it could be seen as campaigning.
That's interesting.
So I just, asking her to say something could put her in issue with the election board. I don't know that it will. I don't know that anybody will
Yeah,
complain.
because we're in a position.
We're in a polling place.
Mm-hmm.
And there's polls literally that were open in this room earlier
Okay.
today. So
All
just an FYI.
I would believe that the best way to handle this then would be, we are solely talking about here and now from this point till the end of 2022. We are not talking about the election. Full disclosure is Ms. Williams is a write-in candidate for the upcoming election, and we are not talking about the upcoming election whatsoever. This is an appointment to finish out a term of the county treasurer that finishes December 31st, or would it be January something of?
January 5th, I think.
January 5th of 2023. So, that being said, I'm not gonna ask you other than just to just tell us who you are, please, so that we have your name and address for the
Megan
record.
Williams,
Okay.
From,
28 Edison Avenue, York, Nebraska.
Perfect. Gentlemen, once again, this is one that we did interview. I think the interview went very well, I believe. You know, I mean, this is an opportunity for Megan, an opportunity to show what she can do.
Yep.
Hasn't necessarily had that opportunity as yet, and it is hers to succeed. We would sure hope if we choose to appoint. The contract, I believe you received, I dropped that off. There would be a contract that she would sign, just like we did with the assessor's office. It would run till the end of the year. She would no longer be a paid employee, she would be an appointed employee, and it just states that she can no longer accrue, you know, vacation time or anything like that. It's just going to the salary of that. So I would guess that we could probably ask, if they had a question, we could probably ask a question if you wanted to, I would
I
think.
have one. How long have you worked in the treasurer's office?
8 years.
8 years, okay,
Yeah.
very good. And how long, and you've been the deputy, is that
For-
correct?
Yep, for 5 years.
5 years, is that right?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a question. I have a statement.
Okay?
I just, at the, sorry to say, the funeral for the past treasurer, when I saw all the NACO treasurers from our district there, and a couple of them came to me and said, we support Megan, she's doing a fine job. I think it's a no-brainer. I think we've got the best of the best, and that's just the backing of the NACO treasurers made me convinced.
Okay. Daniel, you have any comments of?
No, I would just reiterate that, yeah, we had a good interview, talked about a lot of things. Megan assured us that she's enjoyed her position in the treasurer and wants to continue to be in that office. And I agree with Bill. I heard some of the comments from treasurers around the state that had shared their support for Megan. She's currently the deputy. I think it makes sense to appoint her for the remainder of the term.
Okay.
I'd say, kind of echoing Bill's statements, and I don't need to tell you, Megan, but one of your best resources are gonna be your counterparts across the state, and so use them a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we talked about that in our interview too, that, you know, that what she's asking to be is one of less than 100 in the state of Nebraska. So it really does elevate it just a little bit, you know. It's not a state office, but there's just not very many of them there, so. They have a special job to do. They typically get yelled at, and on not a daily basis, but they typically get the grief of the taxpayer, but I guess that's the position you're asking to be. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
one other question. We stated that the contract would run through the end of the year. The swearing in date of a new treasurer is what, the 3rd or something, I believe?
The 5th.
5th?
It would have to run through that.
Okay, right, yep, exactly. Okay, very good. I would make a motion that we appoint Megan Williams, current deputy treasurer, to fulfill the position of York County treasurer for the remainder of the current term
Thank you,
by
Daniel.
signing a contract.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Bill. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Holgren.
Yes.
And Overbaugh.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Now,
Congratulations.
it is a done deal.
Yes.
She asked that Friday if it was a done deal, and I told her the only thing done about it is the fact it's gonna be on the agenda. That's it. She will have a swear-in that we will have to get lined up.
Once you sign the contract.
And she has a contract signed, and I sign it, and I'm sure that one of the, Judge Homolka typically does it. And I know that she requested if she could have a copy of the swear-in. She would like to print, she'd like to commit it to memory. That way she doesn't goof up on it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, good luck.
And thank you for everything you've been doing
Thank you.
this whole year. Appreciate you putting it all together over there.
Thank you.
Okay. Harv, we're back to
I'm
the
back.
9:31 now.
I'm back again.
We're just spending money like we got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was ready. If you're ready. Recommend Van Kirk for the $373,025 and having it done by June of '23. Got it right this time.
Nice too.
Mr. Chairman. What was the estimate on that one?
430, so they were about 57 pounds under, so another good price.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Van Kirk's done a lot of work for us. I
Yes.
think they seem to have done good work for us. The question that I have is obviously their bid is a good bid. The end of construction date. This one we have some constraints, and not that I have any fear that they're not going to meet their dates. There was a couple others that had earlier start dates. They were more money. What's your comfort level on being able to get this project done?
If they're done by the 1st of June, like they say,
Yep.
and it should not take them that long as Mother Nature works reasonably
Okay.
well with them.
Right.
We have 2 pay periods in June, because the last meeting would be the 27th of June in '23, and that's when we'd have to have it done.
Okay, yep.
So that gives us a little bit of room in there
Yep.
that way, because I checked the dates with Cheryl to make sure
Okay.
where we were that way, because I was concerned about this same thing.
Sure, yep,
So-
yep. And I'm glad to hear that you say that it's not that, shouldn't take them that long. Everything has its hiccups, but, knowing the project and how things go, your comfort level makes me comfortable. So.
I would, that's why I recommend them.
Perfect.
Well, and in the contract too, you can list it as the desired completion date is kind of a soft date, or this
Okay.
one, we have it as a hard.
Yes.
It is required by this
Right.
date because of the funding source, so
Yep.
we have a little bit more teeth with the contract that way.
Yes, very good.
And I am with Van Kirk Brothers.
Yeah, very
I
good.
am the one that submitted the bid,
Yes,
and we will make sure that we are done by the first of June.
Sure.
We're close. I know that the local farmers need moisture, but
right, yep.
this weather has been, we've been chewing through work, and if
Sure.
we can get it, if we can move it up a little bit.
Yeah, excellent, thank you.
He's just got to throw something at me. Go ahead, Kurt.
Poke you in the eye.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty heavily traveled road, in
Yes.
my opinion, in York County, so we're probably gonna route them to the north then?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes.
Because to the south, there's no
No,
road,
we
so
have
we
to
can't,
go north.
can't stick it on Fillmore County.
No,
Okay.
that would not be a good road to send them
No,
across.
okay.
So no, we will run them north and around, and we have already looked at that for gravel and making sure the gravel is good on it,
Okay.
so.
And again, not much replacing a bridge with a box culvert, right?
Right,
So
they're taking the bridge out that's there, that would be a 4-barrel box culvert is what it'll be.
Is there, and this question was brought up, and maybe we'll go back to that other thing too, just keep in mind, when these roads are closed, a constituent reached out to me one time, when we have those roads closed, are there other things, ditch cleaning, tree removal that we can be doing while we have equipment there, and granted it won't be our equipment, it'll be the contractor's equipment, but just things like that, so that when it's open, it's just open, because the comment I got was, south of in the south of Waco here, that one bridge on, by St. John over there.
Okay.
We went in there, replaced the bridge, and then months later, we closed the road down again to do some ditch cleaning out. And someone said, hey, wait a minute, why wasn't that just all done at the same time?
Well,
Not a
part
bad
of the-
question.
Part of the reason that one was not done is because you had to have access through the east side to the bridge. We had people that lived over there, and if we'd have tore that up, the people that lived there would have had no way out because of the bridge out and the construction going to the west for them to get out.
Sure.
So that was the reason we done it in two different spots
Okay.
on that one.
Okay. Just food for thought when we're doing those
Understand.
projects, so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments,
Mr.
discussion?
Chairman, I'd go ahead and make a motion to approve the recommendation of the highway superintendent and hire Van Kirk, or give the contract to Van Kirk of Sutton in the amount of $373,025.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Kurt. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Schmalzberger.
Yes.
Colgren.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
And Overbaugh.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you all.
Yes.
Okay, we should have time before our Board of Equalization to go, I thought you said, discuss and act on senior center agreement with Area on Aging. And this was given to Gary. I don't know if you looked at it or Gary looked at it. Gary must have looked at it.
I think Area on Aging was Gary.
Okay. And he gave it a thumbs up for his approval, so this is obviously one that we've done for, I think as long as I've been on the board, you know, for several years, so this would be allowing the board chair to sign. Looks like Gary's already signed it. Any comments? I know we do have a representative. I assume, Pam, you're here as a representative for the senior center?
And I did talk to Ted about the signature on the back. Your husband, did he talk to you about that? Yeah. Gary just had some concerns if you guys were okay with that, and Ted said he thought it was, yeah.
Oh, I see that now.
Yep.
Is there a dollar amount involved with this?
$3,360 contribution.
Okay.
And this is divided into no fewer than 3 payments based on a fiscal year.
And is that the same it's always been?
Very close. It's been 3 since I can remember. 3 something.
And where's that money come from? Heritage Fund or?
This comes out of, doesn't this come out of Lori's?
Come out of Lori's?
Aging Services.
Aging Services Fund, okay.
What's your, you know, obviously Lori isn't here to speak to it, but I know that it's used by aging. And Pam, if you know what they use it for, I mean, we have meals down there yet, right?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
And then used to be Foot Clinic was held, I believe, down there and just different things.
On Tuesday, every 3 weeks.
Looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll move to agree to the senior center agreement with the aging, on aging, and allow the signing of that same.
Okay. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Bill. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Schmalzberger.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Colgren.
No.
And Overbaugh.
Yes. Okay. We're right at 10 o'clock. This was just for the levies. Okay, so we are going to convene recess as a Board of Commissioner. We're going to convene as the Board of Equalization at this point in time then. Open meeting law is posted on the south side of our chambers. It is also outside the wall in the hallway, and it's on our website. Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes, present.
Present,
Present.
Bosser,
Present.
Sykes,
Present.
and Overmeyer.
Present. Proof of publication was in the News Times October 13th, is also on our website. Review and approve the minutes of our October 4th Board of Equalization meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Hogan,
Yes.
Bosser,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Adopt today's agenda.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Baumsberger,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Hogan,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, on the agenda today is discuss and act on amending Resolution 22-41, adopting resolution to set levies for the political subdivisions of York County. After the last meeting, before I got out of here, Ms. Beach from the Historical Society was here waiting for the meeting to start. We had a conversation that had already ended. Apparently, the committee, the board of the Historical Society had never met. They had never adopted a budget. We should have not set a levy for them without turning in a budget to the clerk's office. So this means that we will take that levy out. They will not be a taxing entity this year, and they just have to do without money for a year. There's no way around it. It just is what it is. We have up till November 5th to do any levy corrections. We had a conversation with the state that day. Jeff Shear and informed us of exactly what we did wrong and what we should do right next time, and that is not pass a levy unless a budget is turned in.
And when we say corrections, like for clerical errors, they just can't bring another budget in here and say, hey, here it is now, because.
Right, because it's past that.
That's past, yeah.
Right, yeah, they just have to do without the money for a year. So we would need a motion to adopt a motion to amend the resolution 2241, and it's striking their levy setting authority. Go ahead.
Do we know, did they, was there a reason they didn't?
Could not get a quorum.
Okay.
I guess they have some inactive members. I know Nancy said they're trying to reach out to others that, you know, if you want to be on this board, we need you on this board.
Sure.
And so that was all she told me.
Okay.
And they had said that they had saved up some money for the 150th, and of course the 150th hit during COVID, and they never really spent anything, so she said they should be okay. They just won't get any money this year. I think it was about $4,000, something like that.
It's not a lot. I mean,
It's not.
Grand scheme of things, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to amend the resolution. Do we have a resolution number?
I don't have one yet.
Okay. Striking the York County Historical Society levy.
22-41.
Well, that's the one
That's-
we gave it. I don't have a new number,
Oh.
because I don't know if you guys do
But
it.
it-
we're amending.
we're amending
Yeah,
that
yeah,
motion, so
yeah.
22,
Okay.
whatever it was. 41, thank you.
Was there a second? I didn't hear one, I don't think. Bill and Jack's both raising their hand, they're fighting for it.
Second, third?
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bosser,
Yes.
Hogan,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, brings us to the end of that agenda. So we will adjourn as a Board of Equalization. Jump back up, and at this time, we need to go into executive session at, let's see, what is it, about 10:05, to discuss litigation with our Deputy County Attorney.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hogan,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bosser,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes.